Hello, we are live, slightly in the dark. It is Social Media Saturday, June 15th, 2019. Steve Sipress here, and I saw a spectacular full moon arising, and I said, let's wait until after sunset, and it's fairly dark here in the front of my home, but check that out. Spectacular, beautiful full moon, and the temperature has dropped way down to a extremely pleasant, only around 100 degrees or so at whatever time it is. I don't know, 7 or 8 o'clock p.m. Anyway, thought I'd show you the full moon here in the front of my home, a day after Flag Day, since I recorded my video at an outside location yesterday. It did not display my own flag that is right outside the window of my office. So I get to view it all the time. Every day for me is Flag Day. But technically yesterday, the Flag Day holiday, one of my favorites anyway. Social Media Saturday. So, a few days ago or a week ago or whatever it was, another new non-left-wing social media Twitter-like site was announced called ThinkSpot. I think technically it's not live yet. It's been in beta test. I think it's going to be a ts.today. ts.today, I think. Although they might pick a more useful URL than .today. But I digress. So here's the thing. Everyone except left-wingers knows very well that, as Mark Zuckerberg says, Silicon Valley is a one-party town. Now, of course, from time to time, there's been a renegade conservative in one of these social media companies who gets fired, of course, because he refused to toe the company line of being a far-left liberal. And so they don't like that. They get rid of them, and then they go off on a rant about how conservatives are shunned, as if it's only in Silicon Valley. I mean, for a long time, conservatives have been the silent majority. They've been silent. They've been shunned by all popular everything, more than ever, that I can see now, at least in my lifetime, with the media and entertainers and education and all that kind of stuff. So it's not very popular for people to put themselves out there as a conservative. But recently, some of these social media sites, the main ones, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and then of course there's Instagram, but these are all owned by the same companies and run by the same type of people, at least far left liberal people who don't believe, if you ask them, they don't believe they're far left. They would just say, we're on the right side of things. We're correct. I don't mean to use the word right there, confusing things, saying they're on the right when they're on the left. But a lot of times, people's political beliefs, they just say, we are correct. Whether they are pro-abortion, anti-abortion, they just say, we are on the right side of things. We're on the correct side of things. So they don't see themselves as left or right. But the honest ones, like Mark Zuckerberg, comes right out and just says, look, this is Silicon Valley. It's a liberal city. Everyone here is liberal. That's just the way it is. That's his excuse for why the people at Facebook that he hires to oversee content and police it are overwhelmingly all liberal, and so it's almost always the conservatives who get banned and demonetized from these sites and shadow banned and all kinds of different terminology. Conservatives know it very well that any kind of anti-Trump, pro-Hillary derangement is going to go viral and get seen everywhere. But I didn't even mention Google, because this is Social Media Saturday. It's not a social media site, but the Google search results also skewed liberal. So if you type in things looking for positive articles or positive things about political topics, even on Google, it's going to be difficult to find them. And on social media, more than ever, they went so far. I think Facebook went so far recently with their banning of hate speech that they started banning actual mainstream, which means liberal, of course, but basically, just regular old college professors who are teaching about the history of Nazism. And, had the word Nazi, that guy's banned. That guy is outrageous. We got to ban him off the platform. So, videos getting banned that are completely, neutral. And so, anyway. So it's a slippery slope, all this, hate speech. Look, this is America. There's no such thing as hate speech. There's just speech, and all speech is free. So, grow a pair and get some thick skin like rhinos. And, of course, people are going to say negative things about you. They're going to say it because you are a certain height, weight, sex, skin color, sexual orientation, where you're from, where you're going to, who you like, who you don't like, whatever. People are going to say nasty things about you, so of course they're going to say nasty things on social media. So get some thick skin and stop with the calling for everyone to be banned, or as Mark Zuckerberg does, which is hilarious to me as an entrepreneur, that he calls on, hey, I guess we need the government to regulate us. Like, see, these leftist, liberal, loony, they're so far out, they love the government. Big business loves big government. And most of the big companies in America right now are far left liberal. They're just run by liberals. They've got liberal ideology. And that's just the way it is. And big business loves big government. And it's one big mess that is crushing self-reliance and individuality in America. So here's the question for business, being Social Media Saturday. Should you, as a business owner, get involved in politics, or right or left, or take a stand on issues on social media? Should you join any of these these alternatives that are cropping up, alternatives to Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Parler, and now this ThinkSpot, all saying, we're tired of, as conservatives trying to have a voice on any of the main social media sites, because they're all overwhelmingly liberal, and they ban or demonetize or penalize or just don't show conservative stuff to people. So I'm going to keep the moon in there. It looks kind of cool. So let's just start our own site, which always amazes me. No kidding. I mean, if you go into a restaurant, the restaurant's all pro-conservative, we love America, wave the flag, patriotic, we love the military, blah, 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 whatever, and you're a liberal and you don't like that, go eat somewhere else. And so same thing, in the other direction, same thing on social media. However, basically YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, these Instagrams are basically monopolies. Like, there is no alternative to Facebook. So as a business owner, you have to decide. Certainly there are businesses that take a stand one way or another. So there's businesses that cater specifically to gay, transgender, global warming, far left, all kinds of stuff. And therefore they put themselves out on social media, and all their branding is all about being liberal and all that kind of stuff. And then there's plenty of brands that are all about being conservative. We're veteran-owned, and we love America, and we love the military, and we love conservative causes. So that's the case where it makes sense. Most likely, it makes sense to take a stand one way or another, a political side of the aisle on social media, if you make a conscious decision, your strategy is, we're going to create a brand. Because certainly even if, let's just simplify it, that America was split, and I'm talking about here in the U.S., if it's split 50-50, that's still, 150, 170 million, whatever, people. It's plenty, it's a big audience that is one side or the other. So it's not like, if we take a stand towards one political side or the other, look at all the business we're possibly losing. Like, give me a break. Like, there's enough to go around. There's enough left out of the 175 million people that are left. So you've heard the saying, hopefully, there are riches in niches. It's absolutely true more than ever thanks to technology on the internet. People search very specifically for solutions to their problems, and they want to work very specifically with people very often that align with their beliefs. In person, in brick and mortar, in the local business world, where I spend most of my time, and I've always helped business owners in my career, local business owners mostly, not as many choices. You know, somebody wants to go shopping in a local supermarket, there might not be another supermarket nearby or another Chinese restaurant nearby or whatever. So it's not like you have as many choices, not like a niche. Hey, we're a Chinese restaurant for veterans. Like, might not be a great idea for a brick and mortar, but online, niches are a great idea. And you never should worry about how many people you're leaving out. Think about how many people. That's the WOW strategy. You're speaking directly to an ideal target that you can speak directly to, that will fall in love with you. So will these conservative social media sites survive? Will they thrive? Will they ever be any kind of a realistic competitor to Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, on and on, all those? We'll see. But in the meantime, taking a liberal stand on social media, on the main social media sites, which is basically 99% of social media traffic, you're not going to be in much danger of being deplatformed or demonetized or kicked off or anything. A lot riskier if you take a anti-abortion stance, or pro-guns, or pro-military, or any of the conservative type of things. You're taking a little risk. So until a viable alternative comes along, again, I'm surprised. I'm always surprised when conservatives complain about Facebook or Twitter or whatever. I'm like, well, why doesn't there's got to be some conservative with a lot of money out there and hire the right tech people and start up conservative alternative to Twitter, Facebook, Google, YouTube, whatever. But until then, each business owner, you need to make a decision for yourself. Are you going to be controversial at all, political at all on social media? I don't like to get political at all on social media, but I have certain positions. I'm pro small business owner. So that's just that tends to be more towards the conservative side, because it's more about personal responsibility. You know, the 10% of Americans that own businesses support the 90% that rely on us, because they say things like you hear Bernie Sanders going like, everyone has the right to a job. Excuse me, but we create the jobs. Like, although Bernie would rather just have the government create all the jobs, but you know, the job creators are the business owners. And so, does everyone has a right to start a business? Does everyone have a right to be employed by the business? I'm a believer in personal responsibility, not having a right to getting paid by somebody else to do something. Doesn't even make any sense to me. So that's the kind of stuff that I put out on social media, but I'm not political at all about it. I just have certain beliefs. And so some of my beliefs tend to be extremely on the liberal side, and some tend to be extremely on the conservative side. And so you have to decide for yourself. You know, and as these, by the way, even if you are conservative, you ought to be on and have a presence, I believe, on the liberal social media sites, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Google. You ought to work with those far left liberal sites. In the same way, these conservative or free speech, buzzword alternatives to the liberal social media become viable. Even if you're liberal, you ought to have a presence on there as well. This reminds me when I had a client years ago, about 20 years ago, who was a local franchisee of the Christian Yellow Pages. It's called the Shepherd's Guide. And I, again, being a local business advertising, marketing, and sales expert, worldwide recognized even back then, Yellow Pages was a whole big part of it. And still to this day, although it's not used as much, one of the world's top experts on Yellow Page advertising. And still to this day, I help a lot of people make a killing in the Yellow Pages. It's still published. You can make a killing on it. But you got to do it the right way. Anyway, so there's a husband and wife team, this Shepherd's Guide. They owned the local franchise, so they sold all the ads and signed up all the advertisers, did all the publishing. I think they published it twice a year, or maybe once a year, whatever it was. But they used to say, one thing is we just can't tell the Shepherd's Guide, it's supposedly for Christian business owners. So it's for Christians to say, I prefer dealing with a Christian based business, I feel more safe or comfortable, or I feel more kinship towards them, or I feel they'll be more honest or more caring, or whatever it was. But the lament of this husband and wife, this Shepherd's Guide local franchisees, was, but you just can't tell if every advertiser is a Christian, because they can say they're a Christian. I think they had to sign some agreement to get into the Shepherd's Guide saying, we're a Christian, we believe in Jesus Christ, blah, 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 blah. You don't have to do that to be on Facebook or Twitter. You don't have to sign anything that says, I love liberals and I love socialism. You don't have to do that. And I don't believe you'll have to do that either on Parler or Gab or ThinkSpot. You won't have to say, I love conservatism and I hate socialism and I hate liberals. I don't think you'll have to say that. But even if you do, there were always people, and I knew a whole bunch of them, that were not Christian, but they were smart enough to get into the Shepherd's Guide, because if people are looking for a local business, a plumber, a landscaper, a lawyer, or whatever, you want to be everywhere that people are looking. And so there's something to be said for whatever your personal political beliefs. It's not determinative of where you position your business, social media, where you advertise, where you even just have an account where you sign up. Now, this new one, this ThinkSpot, I believe from what I heard, it's going to be a paid service. Not going to be free like Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and all those. It's going to be a paid service, so that might help to keep out some crazies, but it's social media, so you're going to get crazies. So no matter how much these sites try and control speech, and who calls things hate speech, just means things they don't like. Kind of like our president calls anything fake news. If it's just news he doesn't like, it can be real news, but it's fake to him if he doesn't like it. Okay, it's the same thing with Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Google. Like, your personal belief is not valid if it doesn't match with theirs. And so, just a question. Now, if you want help with this, as with everything, there's a lot of things to consider. And it's a little much to put out in a general video like this on Social Media Saturday, and that's why I offer. You can head over to helpfromsteve.com. We'll get on the phone, we'll talk about it. And I'll help you figure out what your social media strategy should be regarding political statements, conservative, liberal, socialism, capitalism, whatever it is, which sites you should be on, should not be on, which you should advertise on, not advertise on. There's a lot of questions, a lot of issues, way too complex for a basic scratching the surface video here. But as always, if you're serious about really making money on social media and checking into, regardless of your political persuasion, these new alternatives to the liberal social media that dominates the scene right now, by all means, head on over to helpfromsteve.com. You get a link to my personal calendar, and we'll get on the phone. Can't give you a lot of time, of course. I've got things to do, but I enjoy helping business owners, and I will help you out that way. So that's it for Social Media Saturday. People watching this back, in the archives years from now, are watching it going like, Twitter, oh yeah, I remember that was around. Google, oh yeah, I remember when that was around. And Facebook, I remember that. And Parler and Gab and ThinkSpot and YouTube. I remember when all those things were around, because nothing's going to last forever, folks, no matter how big it is and powerful it is, no matter what you think. So, as always, we make hay while the sun shines, or in this case, while the moon shines. And so these are the social media sites that are out there now, and there are specific strategies to capitalize on each one of them. Happy to help you a little bit here. I don't see any questions, comments, concerns. I saw a whole bunch of likes, but for some reason, I'm recording this on Facebook Live, and they're not showing anyone here, and I can't see any comments. So anyone that's making them or asking any questions, I'll respond afterwards, wherever you're typing these in, watching a replay. It's all good. I still respond to comments on the replay. And as always, you can go to helpfromsteve.com, and no comments necessary. We just get on the phone and talk. That'll do it for Social Media Saturday. I'll be back tomorrow on Father's Day, Sunday Fun Day, to check in and say hello. Hope all of you out there are having a great Father's Day weekend, whether you're fathers or have fathers or know a father or whatever it is. And that'll do it for Social Media Saturday. I'll catch you tomorrow. Thanks everyone for watching as the full moon rises in the nighttime sky behind me. Over and out. Bye-bye.